Today on CityCast Nashville, one of the city's most beloved independent venues just signed a new lease. As CMA Fest takes over downtown, we're talking with Third and Lindsley owner Ron Bryce about what it means to keep his stage alive ahead of the venue's 35th anniversary, and why places like his are still essential to Nashville's country music ecosystem. It's Thursday, June 5th. I'm your producer, Daniel Sumstein, and this is what Nashville's talking about. I want to start with the big news. What does this lease extension mean for you personally and for the legacy of Third and Lindsley?
35 years is a long time. We've been running without a lease now for probably 3 years, maybe, trying to make plans to possibly move. It puts us all at ease. 40 family employees and lots of bands and artists.
Where all were you all looking if you weren't going to be in the building that you've been in?
We had a couple opportunities in New Heights, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with where it's at, but it's right by New Heights Brewery, right between downtown and WeHo.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, a great location. I had a bunch of parking opportunities, total build out, which was painful to even conceive. And money got a little sideways there a few years ago. So where we were going stopped, and where we were getting moved from stopped. So we just sat in that position until recently. The current landlord gave us a fresh lease and put us on a path to sticking around. So,
you know, I go to so many shows at Third and Lindsley, and there's just like an energy in the room when you walk in. So to be honest, I'm glad you all have stayed. You kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I was wondering if you could talk about any of the behind the scenes challenges you faced getting this lease extension signed, and why was it so important to fight for this space now?
You want to stay on the same corner you've been on for forever. Just the location itself is a big reason to stay. Our model is a bit, I don't know, it's antiquated of sorts. I mean, it's still a primarily sit down listening room, but we also can transition into a rock room or whatever. And I like that flexibility, and we enjoy being on that corner. Although in the new Nashville, not as easy as it was in the day. You know, we are in the shadows of huge residential complexes now. The city has been good to me in so many ways, but in some other ways, we've lost a lot of parking challenges due to bike lanes that attach to nowhere, and just the transition from the Sobro area from what it once was to what it is now, and it's still growing. You have to adjust and adapt the best you can. And you just move forward. Everybody has issues and problems. You just take it in stride and do the best you can every day. And that's kind of our model. We just roll.
Right. I mean, I think you see that at other venues. You look at like Elliston, where Exit In is, and that whole neighborhood is just completely in the midst of transforming.
Yep.
I saw that you mentioned that this lease is a promise to the community of Nashville. What does doubling down on being an independent venue look like in practice?
We just do whatever we want. We work with anybody, anywhere, anytime. We like that flexibility. I truly enjoy being part of an ecosystem that grows artists. You know, I'm not opposed to making money, but in the big scheme of things, that's way past what we do and what our intent is. I mean, I love when we find something that's, you know, we can get behind, play them, grow them, and move them on to the Ryman and then Nissan Stadium, and they become. I enjoy that part of it a lot, and it's great. You know, Nashville is so flushed with talent. I don't know that the model I have would work in other cities because of just, you know, the corporate types and the chains, the AEGs and the Live Nations of the world, and all that. You're fighting all that for shows, and the product gets diluted over time. They force prices to go up on everything. We just try to keep our prices reasonable, keep our tickets reasonable. Artists all seem to work with us, kind of get it. That's just kind of how we are going to continue to move forward.
The last time I was there, I was struck by the woman running front of house. She had to be like in her 70s, and was just absolutely commanding the room. And it made me wonder, who are the people behind the scenes who have kept this venue running all these years? Do you have folks on staff who have been with you for decades?
Absolutely. To start with, her name's Kathy Mack Smith. She's been with me for probably 34 years. She runs all of my production. She takes care of all the bands, all the sound, all the gear. She hires all the engineers. She is a resource, and a friend on top of it. I couldn't do without it. I mean, if you're running a music venue and your room doesn't sound good, you are not going to do well. And on top of that, I think the quality of our production is what draws a lot of people to our room. How it sounds, how they're treated, the professionalism of our staff. It's just a brilliant situation. And that's a load off of me. So I've got a kitchen manager who's been with me since I started, 35 years, same guy.
Wow.
Not as light on his feet as he used to be, but he's still there. And my core staff, I run with 5 managers. A couple of my front of the house managers have been with me for 20 plus years. My right arm, Brianna, has been with me for probably 10, maybe longer. If it was just a restaurant, that would be one thing. If it was just a music venue, that'd be another thing, but it's kind of all things.
And I know it's every time I go, it's the same. I'm blanking on his name right now, but the same like legendary guy working the door too.
Nelly is a former NHL hockey player.
Whoa. When
there were, I think, 8 teams in the NHL, played for the Boston Bruins. He ended up in Nashville. I used to play hockey in the day. And long story short, he ended up in Nashville as the coach of a team called the Nashville South Stars, one rung under team in the NHL. That team folded in the middle of the season. He had his wife and 2 kids stranded in Nashville. The team didn't pay him out. And I knew him. I said, well, hey, I had some opportunities at a couple things I was doing previous to Third and Lindsley. He's been with me for probably 40 years. He was my roommate on the road in hockey, if that tells you how long. Yeah, he's 83. I tell him all the time, he works about 4 days a week now. And I tell him all the time, I said, you can just tell me when you're done. He'll be there till he's ready not to be there. He had to have his knees replaced probably 10 years ago. We did a benefit for him called Knees for Nelly. And it rocked. Yeah. We raised him a bunch of money, payoffs. Yeah, it's just, everybody loves him. It's fun. It's fun.
Heck yeah.
Nashville has plenty of live music, but you're missing out if you've never experienced Musicians Corner in Centennial Park. It's unlike anything else in town. First off, it's a 16-year-old multi-genre concert series that's absolutely free. Plus, it's pet-friendly, has a kids' activities area, and you can pull out a blanket, grab a bite, and hear some of the finest musicians from Nashville and beyond. Musicians Corner takes place on Friday nights and Saturday afternoons through June 14th with live music, food trucks, artisan vendors, craft beer, wine, cocktails, and more. Friday, June 6th features Carmen Diane, Abigail Osborne, the Nashville Symphony, and others. Saturday, June 7th has Amber Ace, Bean, The Sewing Club, Summer Joy, Valerie June, and more. It's produced by the nonprofit Centennial Park Conservancy and supported by CityCast Nashville. Visit musicianscorner.com for the full lineup.
We are back with Ron Brice. So as we know, CMA Fest is coming up this weekend, and this festival is amazing, but it also tends to highlight the glitz of country music. But venues like yours showcase the heartbeat. We're talking about the songwriters and emerging artists doing the real work. How do you see Third and Lindsley fitting into that broader ecosystem, especially for up-and-coming artists?
On CMA week, we do a mix of up and coming, and then we have an outlet for legends. Everything's going on downtown in Nissan. I actually go in another direction. It's a new Nashville. A lot of locals aren't going to come downtown during CMA unless they're going to CMA. They're just not coming. The CMA it was called Fanfare back in the day. And they actually used all of the venues to do all of their fan club parties. And then they did shows at night at the venues. That doesn't happen anymore. I think it might happen at their venues that are downtown on Lower Broad, and then they do all of their fan club activities, I think, at the convention center, and it's centrally located. And it's, so in essence, I would probably say I'm somewhat connected, but no longer connected the same way I used to be. The ecosystem part of it is, in the day, there was 3 of us, and now there's 15 of us. I like our positioning in the scheme of things, as far as like anybody that's up and coming, that's coming through at our capacity. Generally, we'll get a look, and we're able to like do a couple shows as they advance up in capacity and so on. Harder than it used to be. You got Live Nation, who's tiered the city from 100 cap to Nissan Stadium. And then you have some chains that can offer a Nashville play, but they'll give you 6 or 7 plays in different markets to take the Nashville play. I don't really fight them, anymore. I mean, like, I think and I hope artists know that we're going to do them a great job. We're going to give them great production. We're going to give them the best walkout potential. And if they're looking for something else, then they're going to go somewhere else. You do what you do the best you can do, and I kind of just let those venues fight it out. I'm not much on overpaying or, battling it out with offers that put you on the cusp of losing money on shows and things of that nature. I just kind of try to just generate the best we can every day and put it on our stage. Stuff we can be proud of and grow. That's kind of how I look at it.
I love that ethos. I mean, for your talent buyer, it's got to be so competitive.
Yeah, it's a lot. Now they're opening up places on Lower Broad, ticketed music rooms. And sooner or later, you lose a couple here, you lose a couple there, you lose a couple here. So you have to keep generating new talent, new bands. That's part of the whole long-term approach to it, is you really have to continue to trend with on-the-cusp bands and bands that are new and upcoming. Give them the stage, give them a chance. The ones you really like, you get behind them, work them, and in the end, I'm proud to see them jump up into the next level, and doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm happy for them and happy we had them.
Are there any standout big country radio hits that you remember hearing for the first time on your stage and thinking that one's going to go somewhere? Or maybe not even country radio hits, but just artists in general?
Really, really early on, I really didn't realize how important the ecosystem was. I was just fighting for my life to be there and do good music and pay bills and all that kind of stuff, feed my kids. And then over time, you could watch something, how it worked and how it grew. Like Lady Antebellum comes to mind. They were one of the first, they were selling their first record, Bag of Songs, in the day, doing showcases every Tuesday night for like a while, maybe a year. That's how it was done back then. There was no computers, there was no social media. You basically had to showcase what you had, your songs and your stage presence and all that kind of stuff. And we did industry showcases, tons of them, 6 o'clock, where everybody would come off Music Row and see, what you had and get artists signed out of there and, watch them grow. So that was one of my first ones. There are some nice people. I still talk to them every now and then. I mean, they're just great. I remember Keith Urban. I don't know him well at all, actually, but he used to come in all the time when he first moved to now. He had a band called The Ranch. It was a rock band in the day. I always tried to get that band and never could. But I noticed he was coming into the room and just kind of sitting by himself watching shows before he was, famous and doing really well. And then I come to find out he snaked a couple, 3 or 4 of his band guys. He handpicked his band out of those shows. I noticed when his first band came out, I was like, hey, I know that kind of, it's funny how that works, Geez, there's just been so many great bands, great artists, nice people.
Yeah. My wife's family and I love going to see the Long Players. Speaking of incredibly talented band, they play there every month and they cover iconic albums for anyone who hasn't heard of them. Definitely recommend checking them out. But I've also seen artists like Josiah and the Bonnevilles there. How do you strike a balance between honoring the venue's history and keeping things fresh for today's music fans? It's kind of a rhythm. And the rhythm is, to me, is everything works like
3 to 6 months out. And in today's world, sometimes even further. Records are going to get dropped and artists are going to start a tour or whatnot, or they're going to get added to radio. Generally, those are the stuff that my talent buyer will initiate talks with, or I might hear it through management or a label or something like that. So we load those up in the book probably, 6 months out. Then we'll go to like new and upcoming music that we know internally or through other people, other bands. And then we fill with like really cool bands that everybody just loves. Lots of cover bands like the Long Players and the Guilty Pleasures, and then legend type artists that have been playing me for 20, 30 years, that still come out and play music. And that's just kind of the rhythm of how it all falls into the book. And then we've been doing day shows, which that's new, not necessarily for Nashville, but for me. And we've had a lot of success with them. And those are more tourist-oriented shows. We do a Saturday afternoon songwriter show that does really, really well. It's the best songwriters in town. And we do Bluebird's show. Bluebird's actual show, we do it on Monday afternoons, which is really something that came out of COVID. And it does really well. We've got an afternoon show with WMOT. It's a live radio show that they come in and do on Friday afternoons. And we're getting ready to add a series called Bluegrass on Third. 3 months of daytime Thursday shows now. All the best bluegrass artists in Nashville. We're trying to create a little scene for them to have like a cool outlet to come draw tourists to see them, a good daytime hang. And I think that's going to do really well. I feel good about it.
For any songwriter or musician moving to town now, what's your advice for finding their place in our music community?
That part of it is not my lane, but I can tell you the successful ones that I've seen, it's all about the good music and performing it well. I think getting your music in front of people is the most important thing, whether or not you can, if you're just getting into town, because sometimes you can pair up with other like artists and do 3-band bills, 4-band bills, whatever it takes. People draw people, and 3 of the other artists fans see you, then that's how you gain traction with new fans. And I still truly believe that I've watched it for years and years in this town. It's like the best stuff generally will rise to the top in some way, shape, or form. Some takes longer than others, might travel a different path, but usually the really good stuff gets there in some way, shape, or form.
I just want to thank you for everything that you've done with Third and Lindsley. It's such an iconic venue. It's really special to me. I've had a lot of really great memories there. I know you're heading into your 35th anniversary in February. Can you kind of give us a preview of what fans can expect from those celebration shows?
The previous anniversaries we've had, we did 20 shows celebrating 20 years, 25 shows celebrating 25 years. We missed 30 years with COVID. We ran right through that. And so we decided to just celebrate the 35 with 35 shows, try and bring back a bunch of artists and guests and friends and make a big month or 2 or 3. I think it's probably going to take at least the whole first quarter of 2026 to run them all through there. But I think it's going to be something special.
I know we're all really looking forward to that. For our listeners at home, on a last final note, I would love to know, what kind of support do independent venues like yours still need from the city or the music industry to stay sustainable so that we can keep coming to awesome shows there?
Encourage the artists to play the independent venues, support the independent venues, and the rest will take care of itself. In reality, it's my job to gather best we can, put it on our stage, and make sure all the guests walk in there every night and every day and have a really good time. I want the ticket buyer to come in there and have a really good time. And I want the artists to be very comfortable with all we offer, production, marketing. It's going to be easy and it's going to be fun. And that's kind of how I mold it moving forward. I'm not changing the model. I'm tweaking it a hair just to kind of adapt and to adjust to the new Nashville. But in the end, you are what you are. And that's what I tell everybody. Lots of different places open up, new venues, and everybody taking a run at it, But in the end, I just tell everybody that we work with, let's just keep on doing what we do it well, and it seems to work.
Well, I mean, 35 years is no joke. So congratulations and thank you for everything you've done for the city.
All right, thank you for having me.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Later.